Hi, beautiful souls. Today I'm sharing a little light on fairness. Recently, I've been meditating upon fairness, making inventory and heart-based assessment on what fairness feels and means to me. The reason I've done this is because fairness is something that has caught my attention over the years. I would say probably about 7 or 8 years ago, a friend of mine bought me this incredible, beautiful Septurian druzy heart, and it was just really spectacular. Anyway, she bought it at a wholesaler's and then sent it to me, and she paid for the postage. So I suggested, oh, come on, that's not fair. Let me pay for you for the postage. And she said to me, whatever your problem is with fairness, may I suggest you get over it? And I thought this was really funny because this friend of mine certainly doesn't mince her words. She's very straight talking and has a lot of love in the way she shares things. So at that moment, many years ago now, I stopped and I had a really good meditation on that, about fairness in my life thus far at that time. And I realized that whilst I hadn't knowingly been aware of it, there was a subconscious level where I had an issue with fairness. Oh, this isn't fair. Why does this happen? And more recently, I noticed the same thing. Now, you'd think that you get over things, but you just clear things on deeper and higher levels as and when you go along through life. That's how it works. It's like this um, spiral of cleansing and a spiral of greater awareness that keeps occurring as we grow and as we learn, as we expand. So, as I have mentioned before, I've had these incidents with my cars over the last 2 years. And whilst I'm not caught up in talking about fairness, I have been mentioning, well, it wasn't even my fault. Now, to suggest it's not even your fault suggests that you have an issue with fairness, whether you're saying it out loud or not. There is an issue there. There is something there. There is some interest there. And let's just look at fairness for a moment. Yeah. Fairness is something that humans have created, something that humans have given meaning to, because in higher realms, fairness does not exist. It's not something that exists, because everything that occurs here on this earth plane is a gift for your expansion and for your growth and for the overall growth of all. So to suggest that fairness is something like, oh, it's so not fair, is just a human thing. And that comes from an ego mind. It comes from a place of non-relaxation. Because when you're relaxed, you know that everything is working out perfectly for you. So this is why I was having a ponder on this. I must also just say that when we are moving through our worlds and growing and expanding, especially if you have some sort of big illness or something like that to navigate, we can become very interested in the self. We can become very self-absorbed, in fact, and that's also something to be aware of, because whilst we work these things out, we also want to be aware not to become so self-absorbed that we become insular, that we stop caring about others, and that actually we are open to living. Because when you become so self-absorbed that you're watching yourself like a hawk, why am I doing this, what's going on, blah blah blah, you miss the point of living. And we're here to live. We're here to live in joy. And so how might we live more joyfully? How might we live more healthfully? How might we live more in a space of unity and compassion, with love for all? So be aware of that. Be aware where you are placing your energy and how much your energy you're giving to the self. So to get back to fairness, it's so very easy to miss things out. It's so very easy to assume, yes, I've cleared up my act, I'm on the right path, da 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 da. And little areas can lurk all over the place. Now, I'm not saying that we're complex structures, although some people might say that we are. I feel that we're actually relatively simple. And a simple way to live is to be in service to others, to be in service to love. But that doesn't mean to ignore who you are and ignore your needs and ignore what you feel is right for you in order to be authentic and true to yourself. Because if you're not being authentic to yourself, you will suffer greatly. You will suffer tremendously if you're not being authentic. In fact, I would go so far as to say that if you're in service to others and you're not being authentic to yourself, you will suffer immensely. So consider fairness. Consider a lot of these words. A lot of these words are dysfunctional words because they are human words. There is no translation in higher realms. There's no translation in multidimensionality because they are human words, ego words, designed to keep people small and limited. So why would you need to use the word fair at all? I mean, certainly we look at people that have issues and we go, gosh, that's so unfair. But when you look at it from a high perspective, they came in to experience that, or they came in to clear that, or they came in to do something with that for their soul's expansion. And why would you want to take that away from anyone? Why would you want to make small their journey, the journey that they chose to incarnate here, to experience? So consider a lot of the words that we use, and a lot of those words can actually just be left behind right now. We've gone through considerable changes this year. We're rapidly accelerating, rapidly expanding, rapidly changing. Letting go of things is the easiest way to live because you cannot take everything with you. You cannot take all your ideas and everything else with you. You would just be overcrowded. Everything that you have ever learnt in this lifetime, you cannot possibly have in the forefront of your mind right at this moment because you would just go boom. And that's the same without all of the different lifetimes you've ever had now and each now and through all nows. So past, future, and in this moment. You bring forth what you need into this moment, or at least what I should say, you bring forth what you're calling forth with your focus. So if you're calling forth, this is not fair, then you're going to call forth more of those or more of those experiences until you understand the message that your higher self is sharing with you, until you dissolve it, until you move through that. You can't go from A to Z without steps. There are always steps along the way, and they don't have to be tricky steps. They're not actually, everything is actually really, really easy. It's just we get ourselves in a tiz and we get into our minds, our brains, and we overcomplicate things because we overthink things through. Whereas if you just take a step back and just breathe, everything becomes very clear and very transparent and very obvious. And in that space where everything is clear, transparent, and obvious, you can just dissolve anything that you need to dissolve right now. Let it go, and then just take another step forwards. And I really cannot say this enough, surrendering to each moment is one of the best things anyone can do right now, because clinging doesn't help. Clinging to old ideas only keeps you stuck in a 3D, 4D reality, which nobody wants to be stuck in that reality where there's duality and where there's nobody wants to be stuck there. People want to be moving forwards where there's more light, more love, more kindness, more unity, more compassion, more joy. So if there's any areas where you're being held back, just be aware it's like a hot air balloon, and the hot air balloon is ready to move upwards, ready to take flight, but there may be ground cords, and some of those ground cords may still be attached, but you can't see them because where you're standing in the basket of the hot air balloon, the basket is hiding those cords. So you go, how is it that I'm not where I feel I should be? And it's only when you get out the basket and take a look around, you go, oh, I see now. There's a few cords still there. So you carefully get back in your basket and you intentionally release those cords, untying them, letting them go, and allowing yourself to sail upwards, free, released, surrendering, letting go of all of that baggage holding you down. So, fairness does not exist. Humans may think it does, humans may judge it and make it an energy, but actually when you let it go, it does not exist. It's a human thing. It's not a higher dimensional way of living. Let it go and set yourself free. Thank you for watching. My name is ZsaZsa. I send you a lot of love, joy and peace. Like, subscribe and share this video if you feel called to do so. Thank you for watching.